That depresses me.
So let's move on to that other sport that I think ended about, I don't know, May for me, because the Red Sox obviously were not in it. I could have cared less after that. It's baseball. And a very interesting thing is happening in the World Series.
I'm the only one that cares about the World Series here, folks.
You are the only one who cares. Well, look, Tom, do you care about the World Series?
No.
I don't care about the World Series, but Joe, you do.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this is small ball. This is the Giants are leading now 3-2, and they're going back to Kansas City now for game 6 and 7.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right? All right. So yeah, I knew that. And here's the thing, Tom, you're a hockey guy.
Yes, I am.
You like constant action when you watch sports, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I think. Well, let's not get into soccer, but let's just stick with hockey.
Yeah.
Basketball is up and down; it's constant
Yeah.
action. Okay,
Yeah.
right? All right, all right.
The amount of timeouts kind of.
The fact that baseball takes forever to play.
it's like marathoning Lord of the Rings. You
It
don't
is-
want to do that.
It really is. I'll tell you. You know what I've been watching, Joe? I pick it up in the 7th inning, 7th, 8th inning, and I've seen the end of games, and I saw the whatever they had, 5 runs, 7 runs in that San Francisco last night, right, or the night before. I can't even remember because there's no memorable games. I just no. The home run ball is not in baseball. It is not on. It's
You know
not
why, Jimmy?
on display in the World Series. Why?
No steroids.
I knew that you'd say that. I knew that you'd say
You were
that.
jumping on his bandwagon.
They
a few
need
weeks ago.
performance enhancement. I don't care where they get it or when they get it.
Maybe too much is always bad. No one wants roid rage. I'm not advocating for roid rage.
We don't want steroids.
Maybe a
right.
specific dosage.
Well, there's a couple of things. One is, I think, by taking amphetamines out of the game, those were the little greenies, the little pills that kind of sped you up a little bit and allowed you to get through a long season. And I think that has had
So
more
they're
an
getting
effect than
tired
they
earlier.
thought. Right. I think that had more of an effect on players than they thought. But in the meantime,
Well,
they
if we're
are
actually going to get a World Series preview in, allow me
yes.
to,
Okay.
to
Go ahead.
further
Go
your
ahead.
enhancement.
Go
So,
ahead.
as you mentioned earlier,
It's not a
San Francisco.
preview. Are you going to give us a preview of Game 6?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
going to give you a
Go
preview
ahead.
of Game
Go
6.
ahead, Joe.
Joe,
It's
you can
back
do
in
this. It's your
Kansas
show,
City.
Joe.
It's can't. Yeah, sit back. This is my
Yeah,
show
yeah,
now. So it's back in Kansas City, and the strongest thing for Kansas City is their bullpen. The bullpen has basically carried them to allow them to win. Now that it's 3-2, the Giants have the momentum. Wrong. It is back in Kansas City. They are on their home turf, and the Royals are going to get it done in Game 6. Then we're going to go to Game 7, which you should watch.
I will watch a Game 7.
Thank you.
Okay? I
Thank
won't
you.
tune in.
And that
in the
goes
7th.
for you too.
Oh, you know what? Game 7's in the playoffs or in any sport I watch.
Because, history is going to be made that night. And everything's on the line. Every player's eligible. I love it when they bring in starters for an inning or whatever, even though
yeah.
they'll take forever to play. But still, I think baseball's in trouble. The average viewer of the World Series, average age, is younger than me, 55 years
Baby
old.
boomers.
Yeah, baby boomers. They boomed all right. And,
No Gen X, no
and
Gen
the
Y, no Gen Z.
U.S.-Portugal World Cup soccer game is outrating the World Series.
Oh, that's
And-
bad.
I love
Now-
that. Soccer has absolutely arrived in this country. I love it.
Now getting back to baseball,
And
San
good
Francisco.
luck to the Revs.
Let's go.
Getting back to the World Series, the San Francisco Giants are led with their offense. They have power, they have the long ball, and they are
The
getting
Panda,
run.
Pablo Sandoval, is he
They
the
are
long
getting-
ball? Should he come to the Red Sox?
He should, but
Okay.
he probably won't.
Okay.
So, and led by Sandoval, Buster Posey, and I'll even throw in Hunter Pence. The Giants have been able to score runs. Why? Because they have had a good lead, and it's been held by Madison Bumgarner, who I think right now is the best postseason pitcher in the major leagues as of right now.
Well,
so
it makes sense.
If
I
they
mean-
can keep their pitching, if they can pass it down to Jake Peavy and a bunch of those other guys,
That's a big challenge.
Right.
I love Jake Peavy, really nice guy. His best days are behind him. He's a 5-inning starter, 6 maybe.
Yes, but if that kind of performance from Bumgarner can be brought down to the other San Francisco Giants starters, then the Giants will have a greater chance at getting the World Series, their third in 5 years.
Which is impressive unto itself. The Giants, if you will, are the Patriots of the baseball.
Yes, but they are too inconsistent. The other 2 times they didn't win the World Series, they didn't even make playoffs.
That's what happens. All right. So, and you like small ball? You like the strategy? You like to bunt the man over?
Either way, whatever way you can get runs. I like strategic baseball. I like strategic. I am a fan of the long ball as well.
Okay, but so does that mean you prefer watching a generic National League game versus a generic American League
How do you
game?
feel about the DH?
Well, that goes to the.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Well,
That was
obviously,
good.
obviously, I'm going
smart.
to watch the American
Yeah.
League because a certain team that is around this
Right.
area
We
is
love
in
the
the
Red
American
Sox.
League.
I'm trying to
The
get to
Red
a
Sox.
generic. I'm going to a Baltimore.
But if you were talking,
Baltimore Seattle game.
But if you were talking generic, I would watch a National League game because there is no DH, the pitcher bats, and that builds for more strategy. The pitcher will sacrifice himself to get the run over, and then come the actual hitters of the game. So that's why I like watching National League games.
All right. Well, I did tune in to see. Is it It's Madison Bumgarner, right?
Bumgarner.
And he's actually a very good hitting pitcher. I mean, batting .250. I think his on-base percentage was something like .775 this year
okay.
for a pitcher, which I guess is
Not
pretty
bad.
good. No, it's very good. It's good for a position.
Pitcher,
He led the Red Sox. He would have led the Red Sox with that. But again, let's go back to slow game. Way too long.
Yep.
They have to speed it up. Dan Shaughnessy did a column on this earlier this week or yesterday in the Sunday Globe, and I actually agreed with him. Which unto itself is pretty
How do you
challenging.
feel about the pitch clock idea?
I love the idea of the pitch clock.
A lot of I've been talking to a lot of baseball people around my high school, and they hate it.
Well, you know what? It's easy to hate.
Yeah.
To me, it's better to like new and change. I want to do some drastic things in football too. I want to change some of the rules. They've taken the kickoff return out of the game for
Yeah.
safety reasons. I get it.
That's dumb.
It was one of the most exciting things. I've got a couple of ideas that will make it more exciting, but it does put.
Jimmy and his ideas.
Yeah, I know. Put a little bit more, not even pressure, but it gives the kicking game more of an impact on the game, which I really think they should have because right now, the percentages of field goals are like 85%, 95%. I mean, it's pretty impressive. All right, one horrible piece of news from baseball. And this happens, it seems to happen every few years in baseball too. A young person makes a bad decision and it ends up costing them their life and their profession, and it hurts. It hurts. This is
so
Oscar
sad.
Taveras, the 21-year-old from the St. Louis Cardinals. He was one of the bright young stars for the Cardinals.
They compared him to the next Albert Pujols.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, he had a bad car accident. He and his 18-year-old girlfriend perished in it. We have not heard about if alcohol was involved or drugs were involved or anything like that. We don't know if it was just excessive speed. We know that it was a
kills me.
horrible tragedy, and it's a very sad thing.
It kills me because, like you said, he was a young kid coming into his own. He just lost everything: his life, his profession, his chance, really.
He could have become what I think one of the best players in the MLB in the next few years, but unfortunately we're not going to see that chance. So, all thoughts and prayers to the Taveras family.
That's right. Just in case they're actually out there watching, and you never know on the internet.
They could
Hey,
be.
they could be.
You never know. Hopefully they're grieving with their family and all this. Now, perfect segue to the Bruins, because the Bruins lost one of the greatest players I'd ever seen for his age. I was so excited to watch Norman Levier play hockey. Jimmy will remember this as well.
This is so sad.
And he had a brain hemorrhage in the locker room.
In Vancouver.
And he recovered enough to
walk.
He's alive, but he's walking slowly. And I'll tell you, I will never forget the final skate at the Boston
wasn't that
Garden
great?
when he came out. Still one of the. I get goosebumps
Ray
just
Bork
thinking
helping him
about
out.
it.
Yep.
It was fantastic. Bobby Orr too.
Yep.
It was fantastic to watch
Yeah.
that, but so sad. How are the Bruins doing, especially this week without Zdeno Chara,
Well-
lost to injury?
Well, up until Saturday night, horrible. They did take a good step in the right direction with a 4-1 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs, a team which they should have beat and did. So I'm glad
But
they
you know
did.
Toronto's Toronto.
Yeah,
And
Toronto will
Buffalo,
always.
and they beat Buffalo too earlier in the week.
Buffalo,
or a week
Buffalo
ago.
was Buffalo.
Right. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat in hockey.
The game against the Islanders was absolutely brutal. There's no other way to put it.
Welcome
Because
back, Johnny
the
Boychuk.
Wasn't that Johnny Boychuk's revenge game?
Yeah, and in the second period, the Bruins were dead. They came on hard in the last 6 minutes but they couldn't get the puck in the net. That was too little, too late. I still think that was unacceptable. Play that way for the entire 60 minutes. That's what you got to do.
I mean, Do you think the impact of Zdeno Chara, being out 4 to 6 weeks, do you think that could help or hurt the Bruins?
It's a two-way street, isn't it? Because it's going to hurt them because Zdeno Chara piece. The Bruins have that big 6'9" piece that he is. The Bruins, when they first signed him, built this team around him, and this team is still built around him. And also, in the last 2 postseasons, he has snuffed out. So I think you shut him down until New Year. Till the New Year, get him as rested as you.
I don't know. That might be.
Get him as rested as you possibly can for the playoffs.
I think it can really help the other defensemen to step up and see how good they're
like
going
Dougie
to be.
Hamilton.
The day, when Chara is gone, this can only help. And again, he's not done for the season. He will be back.
And the Bruins play just about 500 hockey without him throughout history.
And also, this will cut down on his minutes for the year too, which I think
would
will
be
also
great.
Be good. Make him fresher for the playoffs.
And also, do you gotta think that maybe this Johnny Boychuk trade may come back to haunt him because he and Chara were basically the 2 top defensemen. Now you bring in a bunch of young guys you're telling them, hey, get into the role. We need you to play good.
Kevin Miller at 15 minutes a night, at a 5th, 6th defenseman role. I like him a lot. Him at like 25 minutes a night, don't like him as much. And Matt Barkowski the same way. And
they're going to learn by doing, though. They're going to learn by playing.
They're going to learn.
The best thing they can do.
And the best they can do right now is keep their heads above water, chase the wild card in the Eastern Conference, because I don't think they're going to win the Atlantic Division this year.
I don't think it matters. I think you need to be healthy and playing good hockey in March. Actually,
the LA
April,
Kings,
not March, because they played great in March last year, and they stuck it out that well.
The LA Kings are the living proof of this. Just go into the playoffs hot, and you'll win the Stanley Cup.
All right, simple enough. That's how you do it. In the meantime, we have another league that's starting. Jimmy, come on over. I don't know. Jamie, can we get Jimmy in this shot too? The other Jimmy? If we all squeeze in. All right, so this is what we'll do. Come on, squeezing. We're squeezing.
We're squeezing.
They're squeezing. And then we put him over here like this. You guys can kind of share this microphone.
All right.
And now I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm looking at the 2-box effect. Hello, Mr. Myers.
Hello, Mr. Young. How are you?
Good to see you. Looking forward to the show tonight.
Well, it's going to be fun.
It's good because, as usual, I'm looking forward to talking to some really neat people, including an assistant basketball coach for the New York Knicks named Jim Clemens. Jimmy, tell me a little bit about Jim Clemens and why we're going to learn a lot about basketball just by listening to him.
Well, number one, he's a legendary coach. People always talk about rings and so forth. He's had an affiliation with Phil Jackson that spans close to 20 years now. Phil Jackson hired him as an assistant, which is a unique story within itself. Jimmy played in the NBA, played against Phil Jackson, knew Phil Jackson, and Phil respected him enough to hire him. That's a relationship that has spanned through the Michael Jordan era, through the Shaq and Kobe era, and has produced 10 championship rings for Jimmy Clemens, 9 as an assistant coach and 1 as a player, and a very unique player in the fact that Jimmy Clemens, played on the Lakers team in 71-72 that won 33 straight games, and they are they're subject of an upcoming documentary that's going to be done by Joyce Sharman, the wife of the late Bill Sharman, former great Celtic.
His numbers in the rafters.
Yes, and who left the Celtics, went back to Los Angeles because he played at USC, becomes a coach, gets credit for inventing the shoot-around, the pregame shoot-around.
Oh, that's
the
funny.
Lakers did it before anybody else did, and guided that team to their title in 71-72 with an assistant coach by the name of Casey Jones. So it was two former Celtics
helping the
that
Lakers.
built the Los Angeles. That were the beginning pieces of a dynasty. Now remember, the Lakers were the first original dynasty of the NBA with George Mikan, Vern Mickelson, Slater Martin as their stars.
Are you guys taking notes on this? Because there's going to be a quiz
They
later.
won.
All right, hang on.
They won back in the 50s. They won 5 titles in 7 years. Then Bill Russell's teams came in, and they were the next great dynasty. But the Lakers in Los Angeles, they moved to Los Angeles in, I believe, 1960. They never won until Bill Sharman became their coach in 71-72. He brings in all these new innovations, and he has a rookie sitting on a bench by the name of Jimmy Clemens, who got a chance to practice against Jerry West and Gail Goodrich every day, which was phenomenal within itself. and becomes a pretty solid point guard. For 9 years, he played in the NBA, and then he becomes a world-class assistant coach, even coached in China.
What's Jerry West known for, guys, in the NBA, besides being a great Hall of Fame basketball player?
Logo.
He's the logo. Good job.
He's the logo.
I could play it up to Joe Braver all day long. I knew you'd know that. You didn't know that.
Nope.
Because the NHL doesn't have a silhouette as a logo.
No, they have just like the N, the H, and the L.
Yeah, I know. NHL, National Hockey League, right?
Yes.
All right. So I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention. We're also going to start. We're also going to talk with Lenny Magliola. This is going to be a basketball themed program.
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, tomorrow's night's the beginning of the NBA season.
That's right.
They will hand out the rings in San Antonio, which is a beautiful ceremony. And anybody that's ever been to one, and most important of all, if you're standing on the floor getting one, those rings are beautiful. I'm told they're estimated to be worth between $50,000 and $75,000 a ring. Loaded with diamonds. NHL has pretty rings too.
Yeah.
All of them do. The one thing they do, the one thing the pro teams do, is they make big, gaudy rings.
They're so
Big,
big.
gaudy rings. I kind of like gaudy. I mean, about this big on your finger. They're bigger than your finger.
It's a paperweight. It's not a ring.
Hey, but everybody wants one.
Yeah, that's
Everybody that suits up wants one, whether you're playing football, basketball, baseball, hockey. It doesn't make a difference. And speaking of which, I've got to bring this up to you, Jimmy. I got a call from the House of Un-American Activities regarding Jimmy Young and his statements about baseball. I had to. They want to have a serious talk with you. They're calling you to Washington to talk about your pillaring of the World Series. So stand by to sit in front of the Senate or the Congress and answer the questions as to why you've been this terrible to this grand old game. And you have to now admit that you were wrong again last week when you said, "Oh, I'm only gonna watch." Well, now you're down to game 6. You can start watching it now.
I watch in the 7th inning.
Oh, okay.
All right, and I'll watch game 7. And I'll watch game 7.
You'll watch game 6.
I don't understand
No.
I love baseball.
They can't get the beauty of it, partner. They cannot get the beauty of it.
Can you get the beauty of it?
It's a great game.
Oh, okay.
I'm telling you, you're
brilliant.
missing.
That was big. I was kind of waiting
missing
to back me up on
great
this.
game.
You're missing a series, I'll tell you that.
But as I said, it's.
I'm not the only one, by the way. The ratings stink. Sorry.
Yes, but then again, the ratings stink for hockey. Does that mean I'm not gonna watch hockey? I'm watching
Playoff hockey is
every
exciting.
Stanley Cup game I can watch. The Stanley Cup is
enough.
The
believe me,
playoffs are
it's
great.
the oldest trophy of North America.
Right.
It is probably the prettiest trophy of all of them, short of the World Cup.
Yep.
The only thing that's prettier than the Stanley Cup to me is the World Cup.
And that's only because you got gold versus silver.
Well, don't knock gold over silver. I'm going with gold. I am definitely
don't knock
going
Lord
with
Stanley's
gold.
Cup.
I'm not knocking
But
Lord
the Stanley
Stanley's
Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And these lips have been on it. These lips have
Excuse
been.
me. I kissed the World Cup.
No.
I just
No.
wanted to know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it is gold.
Excuse me, my
I
lips
just
have been
wanna
on the
know.
World Cup too, but my lips have been on the Stanley Cup, drinking champagne out of the Stanley Cup.
You can't drink out of the World Cup.
One of the first black guys to ever had black lips on the Stanley Cup. Are you kidding me?
Love that. Love it.
Please.
Never thought of it that way, Jimmy.
Thank
What
you.
a shock.
I was there, brother.
All right. Well, guys, we're about time to wrap up this
6:27, yeah.
segment, okay, the K Sports segment of this program.
I would like to say their preview of the
interesting.
NBA is wrong.
Wait, what do you say?
They're saying Spurs over Bulls, and I don't think that will be the I
Predictions
don't
are
think that'll
always
be the
wrong.
finals.
Jimmy doesn't like predictions. I know that.
I don't.
Either.
But I think it will be exciting if and only if Derrick Rose can stay healthy.
Right.
Because see, you can say what you want about he's back, he's ready to play. He's got to get through at least the first 41 games
He hasn't
without
proved
missing
himself yet.
without missing 10 or 15 of them because his knee is swelling up, because this knee is acting up. He's got to get through 41 games before you can even make an inkling that he's back. Of course he's going to say he's back. He's making close to $100 million. We're just going to say, I'm not back, I'm not ready. But my whole thing is that the jury's still out on him.
Hey,
It's still out.
can the Cavaliers be there?
They can, but they don't have the chemistry just yet. They will be at the top of the Eastern Conference
Because-
because we all know the Eastern Conference is
Yeah.
not what it used to be. I
Spring it
think they
lately.
will challenge the Bulls. I don't think that they're going to be the team that LeBron has been in.
Not
with
like the
Miami
Heat.
For 4 years.
I get you.
I'll tell you right now, we got about a minute to go.
Yeah.
Look out for the Washington franchise. You
Yes.
do not want to
Yes.
play that incredibly talented Wizards team with those guards and those big people running up and down the floor, or they're going to cause some people a lot of problems. Because remember, they gave as much as they got last year in the playoffs, and they're only going to get better, Joe.
That's right.
They're only going to get better.
I think the Wizards are the most underrated team
Yeah.
in the NBA. No one is looking at the Wizards as a contender. I see them as a contender. You have one of the best point guards, John Wall, and then of course you have the
Beal.
surging Bradley Beal.
Oh,
and then
man.
you add the veteran experience of Paul Pierce.
Well, not only that, Nene.
Of
You
course,
got
Nene,
frontline. You have
Marcin
frontline
Gortat.
people. Marcin Gortat. These guys can play, and they showed last year in the playoffs they can give anybody a hard game. And when you get in the playoffs, you know that's those series. You know, you lose 1 or 2 games that you weren't supposed to lose. Game's over.
All right.
Game's over.
So is
Series
the show.
over.
So is the show. So for Joe Braverman, Tom Kelly, I'm Jimmy Young. Don't go anywhere because the Jimmies comes right back after we shuffle our seats and change our microphones and get another iced tea. So the Jimmies will continue, and we'll continue with this live video stream from the Nobscot Cafe in just a moment. Thanks, guys.
No problem, guys.